If you find yourself going from one destructive relationship to another, you need to look at the part you are playing. Your own character issues, injuries, and emotional problems will drive you to find unsafe people, and that pattern will continue until you discover why you choose unsafe people. Dr. Townsend shares the top 4 reasons that you might be picking the wrong people and talks about the importance of having a life team to support you.
Hi guys, now we're in chapter 6 of Safe People. Why do I choose unsafe relationships? Why do I choose unsafe relationships? You know, when Henry and I wrote the book, we kind of thought this might be the most important chapter. I mean, we think there's a lot of stuff that helps people. But really, guys, you know, we can give you all the list for what a safe person is and give you the grid and the, you know, this is what safe feels like, this is what unsafe feels like and all that. But really, if you haven't worked out what made you drive to pick the wrong people, the toxic people or controlling people, you'll never get this right. I mean, if you don't understand this chapter, this is why this chapter is so important. The next time you see some chainsaw murderer with great hair and great teeth, you're going to run up to him and say, I don't know what your name is, but I want to have your baby and here's all my money. I'm just kidding. You shouldn't do that. But there are things that drive us, character issues and injuries and psychological issues, emotional issues, spiritual issues, and they drive this crazy behavior that makes us be a magnet of the wrong person. You know, the 1-800-USE-ME magnet that we have on our foreheads, this is how to get rid of that. And you'll find out that if you look at these and you dig into what it is that drives this and you deal with it, you'll just find out your people picker is not going to be pooped. Your people picker is going to be performing. There are 3 P's, right? So, away from the lame jokes, and let me get into this, I'm going to give you the top 4 reasons that I believe that people pick the wrong people. And when you look at this list with me and you go through this with me, just be thinking to yourself, could that be me? Could that be me? Is there an experience where I can go, aha, I have done this and I've been caught in this? Because remember, in Christ, there's no guilt and there's no shame and there's no embarrassment about saying that's me. There's a lot of grace here. And if we find out what it is, we can do something about it, okay? Very first one is we choose unsafe relationships because of isolation. One of the really important things that we find out is that people tend to choose out of a deficit or out of loneliness or out of being all by themselves, and they don't choose people of good character. You know, we always look at it as, think about what the research about overeating is. I'm always, you know, trying to work on overeating. Right now, I'm in an overeating phase. I'm having to get back with the workouts. I've got, you know, I've got people like my friend, the studio engineer here, Michael, telling me what to eat and all that because he's in shape and I'm trying to work and all that. But what we're finding out is when you go to grocery stores and you haven't eaten, you've gone, you know, several hours without eating, you will tend to buy a lot more food, especially a lot more food that you don't need, than if you've just eaten, you go to the store. It's just kind of one of those known researched issues. People pick better and they pick less when they go to the grocery store because they're full. Well, the same thing happens to us in relationships. If you've had a long time of being disconnected or you're in some kind of season of life where people really don't know you at a deep level, and you've got people around you, but nobody that you've really been found that you can be vulnerable with and safe with, you're isolated in that sense. In other words, I don't mean isolated just like you're a hermit or that you're living like a forest ranger in a tower in the trees. I mean, you can have lots of people around you, but you can still be profoundly isolated. And if you don't have that, you will pick people out of some deficits. Jesus told the same story or illustrated the same point when he said that if you take a devil out of a house or a demon out of a house and you don't fill that demon up with the right things, 7 more are going to come back in. So what it means is you're going in and you're going to have lower standards. You're just going to have lower standards because the hunger and the isolation cause you to take sort of like the next warm body. Think about rebounding dating for those of you who are single. You know how it is when you had a horrible breakup and it's been tumultuous and painful. How many people that you know, or maybe yourself, have gone and found somebody who wasn't the right person, but at least it was a warm body there. So what's the answer to that? Don't be isolated. Remember, and I keep bugging everybody about this, but it's worth bugging. You're going to have a life team. And a life team is those set of people, and I think somewhere between probably 3 and 7. I kind of go up and down on this, but 3 and 7 I think is the right number of people that you meet with regularly, that they love you, they just want to be with you, know you, help you grow, accept you like you are. These are the people that will fill up your head and your heart and your tummy, so that when it's time to whoever the next person you're going to date is, or maybe a business proposition, or maybe a friendship or whatever, you will keep your standards right because you'll be full inside. You'll pick better. So keep that life team going and pick people based on higher standards. I wrote a book called Best Friends Forever about what are the standards you should have for a friend, because a lot of us just have friends accidentally. Well, I met them at a baseball game, or I met them because I was mowing my lawn and they were too. Well, great. I mean, but you got to have standards as well as what am I looking for in a friend. So your standards, you can hold to higher standards if you go with the life team. Okay. Now, if you say, well, I don't even know how to do that, that's a whole different issue. We can talk about that. But there are lots of life teams out there. There are people like you. There are like support groups. There are Bible studies. There are growth groups. There are process groups. There are you picking people in your life to just have coffee with at Starbucks that feel that they're kind and they're warm and they're interested in you and they want to go through the journey of life together. You got to get those people in place. By the way, the Best Friends Forever book talks about strategies to put your life team together so you can pick better. Okay? So, second one is a different one from isolation, the reason that we don't pick like we should. It's called defensive hope. And defensive hope is a kind of a crazy hope that's based on pain and hurt and injury and misunderstandings, and it's not a healthy hope. Now, the word hope itself is a great word. The Bible's full of that word. And if you look at the psychological research, people who don't have hope get depressed and they get sick and they don't accomplish things in life. Hope is some sort of a positive expectation of the future. When I am hopeful, I'm hopeful that I'll have a great year at work, and that's a positive expectation. I'm hopeful that my family will do well. I'm hopeful we'll have a great vacation. Hopeful that I'll really be involved in my church in good ways. That's a positive expectation. Defensive hope is differently. Defensive hope is based on a wish. The fundamental foundation. What a redundancy. Fundamental foundation. What does that mean? The foundation of defensive hope is it's based on a wish. I hope that my cousin won't be an alcoholic anymore. He'll be nice to me. Oh, what do you base that on? Well, I really hope he does. Well, is he going to 12-step groups? No. Has he admitted he has a problem? No. He says, I'm the problem. Is he reading books on it? No. But I really hope he's better. See, that's just based on your wish. God's hope is based on always on some kind of seed. There's a seed, there's a germ inside that gives us hope. Like, is your cousin going to deal with his alcoholism? Well, yeah, I mean, he's still drinking, but he finally broke down and said he's miserable and he doesn't like what he's doing to his health or his family. Well, I've got hope for that guy. There's a seed inside where I'm seeing some evidence. Defensive hope is just, I hope they change. And here's the problem in relationships. If you're a defensive hope person, you'll say, well, I just am an optimist. I just believe in people. I'm up with people. Well, I'm up with people too. And the optimist kind of says, I'm going to ignore all realities. And if the person has no hunger for growth, no thirst for growth, they don't want to change, they want to blame everybody else, they're in denial, I still hope you'll get better. Well, God doesn't even do that. The optimist, and I'm fundamentally optimistic, that kind of optimism will make you wait too long for people to change. It'll make you deny what they do. It'll make you minimize how crazy they are, how toxic they are, how controlling they are, how selfish they are. Watch out for defensive hope. It's not good. You want to have biblical, realistic hope, which is there a seed somewhere? Do you see a desire in them to change? Do they hate what they're doing? Do they feel bad when they're hurtful? Are they open to reality? Or they're sort of like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not a good sign. To watch out for defensive hope. The third one is fear of aggression. Now, fear of aggression sounds kind of kooky because isn't aggression bad? You know, we don't want to raise our kids to have aggressive behavior and beat each other on the head with hammers and all that. No. Aggression's a good word, but it gets used in bad ways. Aggression is your drive to initiate. to solve problems, to go out and start your own business, to go out and get in shape, to go out and ask that girl out that you've been, or that guy out. Well, I don't think different topic. Ask people out that you like, to confront problems in your friends and say, I've got to do this, to create a new idea, a website. And when people are fearful of their aggression, they kind of wait on life. I hope people like me. I hope people give me permission to choose. I don't want to rock the boat. Well, successful people rock the boat all the time, and they just kind of have to. And when you're afraid of your aggression, guess what you'll do? You will find your aggression in someone else. Why do you think that really, really nice, compliant, sort of by the rules people, why do you think they find lunatics to go in business with and fall in love with? Why do you think they find angry, controlling, self-centered people? Because those people have the aggression and the initiative that they themselves are afraid of. But since God made us to be not only relational but aggressive, and we're afraid of the aggression because we're going to upset people, we're people pleasers or whatever, we can find it. And then we go all the way through life sort of like with a little red wagon behind us, which is that crazy aggressive person in our life. And we'll say, I can't believe this person. They're so mean. Can you believe that? But we're dragging them behind us. So you probably have some experiences in your head of, that's why I was attracted to that person. At least they had aggression and energy and, anger, and I don't have those things. So what you got to do? You got to be honest. You got to be angry and sin not. That's what the Bible says. You got to have access to your own aggression and risk-taking and anger and those sorts of things. Then you don't find yourself addicted to crazy people. And the fourth one is rescue needs. And rescue needs means I am the person that collects all the wounded puppies and kittens in my house or in the neighborhood, and everybody comes to me with a person, well, they're an alcoholic, you can fix them, and this person doesn't have any friends, you'll be a friend, and this person needs somebody to talk to. If you're a caring person and you listen well, you'll have a line two blocks long waiting to see you. Well, we're all supposed to serve, but you can't take care of everybody. That's called rescue, when you find yourself having to go beyond love to actually solve people's problems for them that they should be solving for themselves. And when you have rescue needs, which is a need to go fix people, guess what? You pick the wrong people. That's why people marry the wrong people, go in the wrong friendships, go in the wrong business relationships, because they find all the wounded puppies and kittens and they think, well, this is who I ought to hang around with. No, you're supposed to be with them and love them and help them, but you've got to have your own functioning friends over here that have something to offer you too. What's the difference between love and rescue? Because it's a big question. How do you know when you're loving someone and rescuing someone? Let me give you just some tips here. First, am I doing something for them they should be doing for themselves? Because if I'm taking them to the appointments and they're not going to the appointments or whatever for a job, that's a problem. I was working with an executive the other day, and we had a scheduled meeting, and he was texting his people to see if they were going to be in the meeting. I said, do they know they're supposed to be there? He says, yeah, I'm just reminding them. I said, that's rescue. If they don't show up, that's their problem. So are you doing things for them they shouldn't be doing, they should be doing for themselves? Secondly, are you doing things that are going to damage your resources? Proverbs 4 tells us to guard your heart, for from it flow the well springs of life. Are you giving them your savings funds and your retirement account and energy you don't have? Because if you're doing that, then you're going to be in trouble. Somebody's going to have to fix you. So that's how you can tell. If you're loving someone, you support them, but you let them face their own pain. You love them, you give them advice, you give them time. They've got to fight their battles, and you don't give out of what you don't have. Okay? So those are the 4 reasons and some tips to how to handle that. So here's your questions. 3 questions to think about. Which of the four reasons that we picked the wrong people, which one trips you up and why? So which one am I prone to? Am I more vulnerable to, acting out of isolation? Am I more vulnerable to defensive hope? Am I vulnerable to being afraid of my aggression and my anger and my initiative? Or do I just rescue people and attract, the wounded kittens and puppies? And deal with that, because there's reasons for this. Secondly, who do you need to stop having defensive hope with today? Most of the time, everybody in our lives, we can think about if we did an autopsy of the relationships we spend time with. If you look at, the first of the month to the 30th of the month, sorry, you're looking at me the different direction. The first of the month to the 30th of the month, there are going to be some people you'll think, I like that person, but I've got too many of these people. I'm waiting for them to change, and I need to accept reality that I want them to change. I want to show them, I don't know, how to get a job or how to not be an alcoholic or how to be nice or how to commit to me because they won't commit. maybe I've got to look at God's hope, which is there really a hunger and thirst inside? Is there a seed of hope? Or am I just kind of thinking positively because I'm afraid to look at reality? Because the problem with defensive hope is I'm really afraid to look at reality. And you've got to face reality if you're going to be healthy. Thirdly, who can help you stop rescuing and start loving? I mean, all of us are sort of prone to this. We have these people that we're trying to fix. Who is it that you can go to and say, you know, I tend to just give advice and I'm always helping people with crises and I'm all burnt out. Somebody will say, take care of yourself. God wants you to be healthy for a long time so you can help other people. Find somebody in your life that can do that. That can be your advocate in your own health. So that's how we learn how to have a better people picker, and I hope that's helpful to you. We'll see you next time. God bless.